Jesus is not a Christian, Pastor Abel Damina exclaims and fires other men of God who are giving false teachings in the Christian fraternity. Jesus is not a Christian. My question is, do you know this as a Christian? Do you know that Jesus is not a Christian? If you don't know, or even if you know, let's watch this one.
Christians uses the Bible. If God is not a Christian and Jesus Christ was not a Christian, which means every other person in the Bible, Moses, Joseph, that most people are tailoring their life after, they were not Christians. So what were they? Were they really Christians also, or they were not Christians?
Well, again, like I said, Christianity just started in Antioch not too long ago. Why were people called Christians? Let me establish that before I get to the other part of the question. In Antioch, Brother Paul, who later on came into the gospel, was teaching for over 1 year. And because of his teachings, the adherents of his teaching their lifestyles were transformed. And people saw the changes, the visible changes that had occurred in the life of these adherents of the teachings of Brother Paul. And they said, these guys look like Christ. Let's call them Christians. It was actually a label of identification. It's not God that say you are Christians. No, it's not God. It's people who saw these people and said, the best way to describe these people is Christ-like. That is, there's a transformation in them that has made them act like Christ. So that is where that label Christians came. But again, for the purpose of identification, today we have adopted that to identify all those who are adherents of Christ. But it doesn't mean that God created a religion called Christianity. No, what we have is a relationship with God that is predicated on the love of God through the sacrifice of Jesus. That's what we have. And that relationship is not restricted to the four walls of a church building. Anyone who believes, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
So which means nobody in the Bible is a Christian.
Well, they were from Acts of the Apostles.
But Old Testament.
But in the Old Testament, they didn't even know the name Christian.
Exactly.
They didn't know it.
So Moses was not a Christian.
Abraham, Jacob, Isaac, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Nehemiah, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, all of them were not Christians. Even Jesus was not a Christian because Christianity started after Jesus was gone.
Yes.
In Antioch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, as you said, Christianity started before Jesus was gone. I thought Jesus was gone. Something just came to my head. Where Jesus Christ disappeared to? Some people said he went to India, Nepal, Egypt. Yes, because Jesus Christ disappeared from the age of 13. Where did he go to?
Well, again, you must remember that with Bible history, when Jesus was born, there was this oppression that was going on. And so Herod wanted to kill him. So they took him to Egypt. And then after a while, they brought him back when Herod was gone.
So was it because I've read a lot.
There are a lot of questions on the chopping board, like I said earlier in the previous ones that I dropped. Now, guys, you see, Christianity requires understanding and learning, knowledge. And so, if you don't prioritize any of these things that I mentioned, you will just be following the crowd and you wouldn't know what you are doing. We are all Christians, but it doesn't prove the fact that, or despise the fact that we need to learn as Christians constantly. That's why Paul told Timothy, study to show thyself approved. Because he knows that one day if you call yourself a Christian, people will come at you, ask you, your God didn't even exist. All these miracles that has been listed in the Bible is false. All these prophecies, he didn't even fulfill them. Meanwhile, things are there that you need to learn and know. Christianity, I've learned this from my pastor years ago. I would say years ago, you know, kudos to, my pastor, you know, and he told me, it was us in a meeting, right, that Christianity started after the resurrection of Christ. And that's what Pastor Abel was saying. So all these figures that you know in the Bible, the prophets, all of these people, Moses, Abraham, they were not Christians. That's the truth. I mean, just go mention this thing somewhere, nobody will believe you. People will fight you. Why? Because you are saying the truth and they don't even know the truth. Because in those days, there was nothing like Christianity. Christianity just started some years ago. Okay? And so that's the truth. And so these figures in the Bible, they are people who had relationship with God. That is why we say Christianity is not a religion. Christianity, sorry, Christianity is not a religion. It's a personal relationship because that's what have been done in the past with our men of God. Moses, Abraham, Joshua, they walk with God. They've seen God. They have encountered him. And so it has become a relationship. See what Elijah did, sorry. See what Daniel did. See what Enoch did. Relationship. And so what Pastor Abel is saying is no false. That's the truth. Christianity started no long ago, bro. Even though it is way older than Islamic, right? The, Muhammad and all those fallacies. There's no proof to that. There's no proof. There's no proof at all. But you see, I was listening to a broadcast with Prophet Angel, and he was saying, Jesus among many other gods, or Jesus among other gods, yeah. And he was saying, there's almost 6,000 manuscripts with the Bible and other books that we learn in schools, subjects that we learn in schools, don't even have up to 50 manuscripts. And manuscripts, if you don't know, they are copies of the original document. Okay? And if we are having 6,000, then it could attest to the fact that the Bible is real. But if the book that you learn in school is having just 5-10 manuscripts, and manuscripts are such that if you are copying them, you dare not make a mistake. You don't make mistakes with manuscripts. You say, oh, I've done a mistake here, I'm canceling. You don't do that. So who would recopy 6,000 manuscripts and copy them falsely and be very accurate with it? It won't happen. So Christianity is real. But Christianity started after the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's a bit. And so what Apostle is saying is right. My name is Chodanix. I love to break down gospel messages like this. I'm out. Make sure you subscribe, share, and like.